All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're exploring a really powerful idea for healing division, and it comes from a text that's almost 2,000 years old. It's a story about how two groups that absolutely hated each other were brought together. And honestly, it has huge implications for how we can deal with conflict in our own lives today.
So let's just get to the heart of it. What does it actually take to tear down a wall? Not a wall of bricks and mortar, but one built from generations of pure, unfiltered hatred. It's a question that feels like it could have been written this morning, doesn't it?
To find the answer, we have to go way back in time, way back, to the ancient city of Ephesus. Now, this wasn't some sleepy little town. Ephesus was a major hub. Think of a global capital buzzing with money, culture, and new ideas. But just beneath all that shine, it was a city cut in half by a massive, bitter divide.
And get this wasn't just a figure of speech. Right in the middle of the city's main temple, there was a literal physical wall. It was there to separate Jews from non-Jews, the Gentiles. There was even an inscription carved into it warning that any Gentile who dared to cross that line would be killed. It was the ultimate, in-your-face symbol of you are not welcome here.
You know, this hatred, it seeped into everything, even the very words they used. The in-group, the Jews, called themselves the circumcision. But the out-group, the Gentiles, they were called things like unclean dogs. It was a classic case of us versus them. And these weren't just insults. They were designed to strip people of their humanity.
So, if you were on the outside looking in, if you were a Gentile, the separation was absolute. In their world, you were seen as spiritually bankrupt, completely cut off from God's promises, a total stranger, an alien. You are basically navigating the world without any ultimate hope. The way it's described here feels so final. I mean, can you imagine being told that you are fundamentally, irredeemably an outsider, that you have no access to hope, and you have to face all of life's pain completely on your own? What a desperate, lonely place to be.
Okay, so things look pretty bleak, right? The division seems permanent, the situation feels utterly hopeless. But right at this point, the entire story just completely flips on its head. This is the moment where everything is about to change. It's just two little words, but they change everything. But now, it's like a cosmic pause button gets hit. Everything we've just heard about this hopeless, divided situation is about to be turned upside down. What was impossible? Well, it's about to happen. And here's the radical solution the text gives us. It says that peace isn't a treaty. It isn't a negotiation. Peace is a person. Think about that for a second. The text says Christ himself is our peace. He didn't just broker a deal. He was the deal. He personally demolished that wall of hostility. And we've got to be clear about what this peace really means. The original Greek word here is eirene, and it's so much more than just, the absence of fighting. It's about a deep, restorative wholeness. It's about taking something shattered and making it whole again. The goal isn't just to manage the division. It's to create something entirely new and unified. So if the wall is gone, what's left in its place? Just an empty space? Not at all. The text says something brand new gets built from the rubble, a new kind of reality. This journey from being an outsider to an insider happens in three really powerful stages. First, these former aliens become full citizens, with all the rights that come with it. But it gets even better. Citizens become family members. And then, in the final step, that new family actually becomes a holy temple. And the word used for household here, oikeos, is so important. It doesn't just mean you're living under the same roof. It means you are an intimate core member of the family. You're in, you belong. What the text is claiming is that these former strangers, these enemies, have become brothers and sisters, sharing a whole new identity. And this brings us to the most incredible metaphor of all. This new community, made up of people who used to hate each other, they become the new sacred space. Each person is described as a living stone,
perfectly cut and fitted together to build a place where God's very presence dwells. The people themselves are the temple. It's just a stunning idea.
Okay, that's a beautiful 2,000-year-old concept. But so what? What on earth does that have to do with you and me today in our messy, divided world? Well, this is where it gets really, really practical. So how do we actually do this? The source material offers a pretty clear playbook, kind of a stop, be cautious of, start guide. The idea is to stop making lazy assumptions, to be really cautious of our own judgments and the divisive words we use. And then we have to start being intentional, start building real relationships, start inviting different voices to the table, and actively go after peace when there's conflict.
And this really gets to the core of it all. Just think for a second about how much energy it takes to stay divided. All the anger, the suspicion, the effort to maintain those walls, it is exhausting. The principle here is that when those walls come down, all that energy doesn't just disappear. It gets freed up, and it can be redirected into building something new and amazing together. And maybe this is the most urgent takeaway for our world right now. Our world does not need more people digging trenches and taking sides. It desperately needs more people who are willing to build bridges, people who will bring sides together. In a culture that is constantly screaming at us to join a tribe, maybe the most revolutionary act is to be a unifier. And that's where this whole thing lands. With you. This power to break down walls isn't just some abstract ancient idea. It's real, and you have it. In your family, in your community, at your job, you have the power to be a unifier instead of a divider. So the question is no longer if it can be done. The question is, will you use that power?